Hey, this is Cold Turkey throwing down with Fallout New Vegas, like I always was, like I will be, for a little while longer. So what were we doing before we left off several weeks ago, actually, by this point? Well, if you recall correctly, we're taking care of some of these quests that we have in a sort of specific general area, but they relate more towards Boone. Remember, in order to unlock Boone's companion quest, I forgot to remember to forget, we have to do certain things to gain like points with Boone, and this typically involves killing Legion in some way, shape, or form. In this particular case, we're going into Nelson, which is a town that is east of Novac, and we're going to liberate Nelson. Now, in order to get the like points for Boone, all we actually have to do is go in here and take care of the hostage situation. Preferably, we release the hostages and don't do any mercy killings or snipings, and that'll get us the like points with Boone. However, later on in the game, very soon actually, you would find that there is a point where you have to come back into Nelson and take care of a situation. The Legion is occupying the town. You want to come in here and kick the Legion out, and to do that you got to kill the leader. And you got to probably kill most of the Legion in the area too, but I think the game has a flag set where you only need the leader. I'm not 100% sure on that, but either way, this is a great idea, great time to take care of all these things, because in the last commentary we got 3 like points for Boone. We only need 2 more, which we'll get through this. So we're going to untie these guys because they've been hung up to die. And then Boone's like, yeah, that's a good idea to do that. We don't want a mercy kill. And then we're going to go into this building right here, which is very close to where those guys are tied up. Let's see, I want to heal up first. And this fight can be a little bit difficult. With Boone, it probably won't be too bad. But on second thought, I better drug up. Do some Med-X, do some Jet, do some Psycho, shoot it up, snort it up, do whatever you got to do. You know, when you're having fights against big bosses or big baddies that can put out a lot of damage and have a lot of damage resistance or damage threshold, I guess in this case, because that's what this game uses, then you definitely want to use drugs in those situations, because it's really going to help you win the fight. It'll increase your damage output, and on top of that, with Med-X, it'll decrease the amount of damage that you take. So when you're going for the big boss fights, pump up on those drugs, kids. But otherwise, no, drugs are bad in real life. But in games, maybe not necessarily so. I don't think the Fallout system for drugs is too incredibly realistic. But it's a game, so who really cares, right? I don't want to pull a realism card. It's a silly card to pull. So we released the guys. We took care of all that. We go back up to Ranger Milo. And whoa, we did that. So yeah, we complete the quest back in our own backyard. And then, of course, we're going to want to talk to Boone. Because remember, when we're getting these like points with Boone, we typically always want to talk with him after we've done the event in order to fully get the like points and then go through all the dialogue options that are new in the dialogue tree because we got those like points. And in this case, because we've gotten the 5 like points we need, we can finally understand what happened at Bitter Springs, where Boone goes and talks about how this horrible thing happened where he killed a bunch of civilians, women and children, and he's traumatized, and you know, it's a horrible thing. So now that Boone has told us about that, we're going to want eventually, later on, to talk to him again and say, hey, let's go back there. He'll reject the idea immediately after. Typically, you could do a quick travel in order to force the game to reload. That'll do it. But in this case, it doesn't matter because it's so far up north that we're going to be heading in that direction a little bit anyway. We're going to be going up to camp. I believe it's pronounced Forlorn Hope. Forlorn Hope. You know, actually, I don't know technically how it's pronounced. Now, I would know if I actually bothered to listen to what the NPCs say in the game. But to make a long story short, we're going to be heading northeast and then north, and we're going to go up to the camp because there's some quests there that we need to take care of, and those quests also tie back into Helios 1. There's some stuff we got to do there, so it's a win-win situation. We're going to head up towards that area. Of course, there's going to be Legion opposing us in the meantime and in between time. That's okay. Let's see what we got. Some fatty loots here. What do we got? Nothing too great. I'll take it anyway just so I can sell it. So we'll head north, and you see kind of the camp way up there in the distance past that sort of road that goes up those rocky mountains. And once we get up there, I'd imagine once we enter a few buildings that it'll tick off some random timer within the code in the game, and Boone will talk to us and be like, we should go back and take care of it. Am I getting shot? I feel like I'm getting shot. Oh yeah, there we go. Dirty rat. Come here. Whoa, did I just pull out an invisible gun and then pull out a real gun? That was crazy. Eat invisible bullets, punk. Yeah, look at his head roll. Look at it roll. Rolling on down the hill. Anyway, got some good loots? Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, so we take care of these little Legion punks. So we're heading up into the camp. There's a couple of quest chains that we can do in here they're all pretty important, I think, to take care of. And once again, just to reiterate, I know I talk about this every commentary, but it really does bear worth stating, I guess, every commentary is, number one, I'm playing on hardcore, very hard difficulty, so this is, real man playing. Number two, although I do mod the game, I don't use any mods that add any equipment or unique items or any power things like that, because I think that's lame. And then, as always, this is not a 100% playthrough. I'm not going to do every single quest. I'm not going to explore every single location. I'm going to try to do the best that I can do. And sure, I'll miss a few things here and there. I'm human, it happens. Oh, what did I tell you? We'll go through a few buildings, and then Boone will spill his guts. Alright, so Boone's like, we should probably go back. Okay, we'll make a stop there. And that'll give us the quest I forgot to remember to forget. And that is Boone's companion quest. Not all companions have quests. And not all companion quests that you have are necessarily as difficult, quote-unquote, as Boone's companion quest. And when I say difficult, I mean that very loosely, because it's not necessarily the difficulty, but that Boone's companion quest does tend to have more steps than most, although Cassidy's can be a bit involved as well, especially when you throw in all the plasma dealer Silver Rush guys. So this is Dr. Richards. The reason we're talking to him is I wanted to get healed up. Remember, because it's hardcore mode, just sleeping in a bed for an hour won't heal all your wounds instantly. I had some limb damage, more than likely. My health was low. So I just figured I'd pay 50 or 100 caps to take care of that. Also, he gave us a quest where somebody was stealing medical supplies. What kind of a low-down scumbag steals medical supplies from a struggling army camp? Wow. That's despicable. We'll make sure to catch and bust that guy. Then we're also going to talk to the Major here. He thanks us for taking care of the town to the south. Remember when we were there, we were kicking all the Legion out and making sure to kill the leader. So that'll kind of get us that quest done. And then also we want to talk to that lady. She'll give us Return to Cinder. Return to Cinder is a very, very important quest in the game because it has this going all throughout the Mojave. And it'll really let us explore the entirety of the region in a lot of ways. We'll get a lot of good things on our map. So back to what we're doing for the Major. We talked to this guy, and he's like, yeah, well, we need supplies. We sent out a request for supplies. And then we're going to highlight Restoring Hope, look at the world map, and we're going to want to go to Helios 1. Get to Helios 1, and then this chick, she's like, oh, hold on a second, whatever. You can talk to her, go through dialogue options. She'll give you a quest as well if you go through dialogue choices where you can go into Helios and take care of some business. There's a couple things you can do here in this facility. You can use it to side with the NCR and restore power to certain regions like the dam or basically certain NCR camps. The other option you can do is you could go with Followers of the Apocalypse and instead choose to restore power to the entire wasteland, although that does have issues. And then there's also a weapon you could choose to use or not. You could blow up the NCR. There's all kinds of things you could do. That barrel's pissing me off. Get out of here. Yeah, that's right, barrel. Take it! Alright, anyway, so we got to talk to the idiot with the sunglasses. There's a couple of different ways you can get to them. There's also some rooms that I'm not going to explore necessarily in this footage that you could go through, maybe steal some things. Well, yeah, basically just steal a bunch of stuff. Anything here? Can I steal? No? Okay. But there's a few good things you can steal here and there, but I'm not too worried about it. At this point in the game, I've got so much money and so many items that I'm not necessarily worried if I forget to steal a few things here and there. So this guy's called Fantastic. When you talk to him, tell him that you're here to take his job. Don't shoot him in the head or attack him or anything. Just tell him you're here to take his job. You can get a bunch of caps off of him. And then on top of that, he admits that he's a struggling drug addict, which is all the more leverage we can use against him later because we are blackmailing jerk. Now we're going to talk to this dude. You talk to him and you'll realize that he is a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse, where he'll tell you kind of a little bit more. Fantastic's a complete moron and doesn't actually know what he's doing, whereas Dr. Rivas, or Rivas, however you want to pronounce it, does know what he's doing. If you go through all the dialogue options properly, both of them will give you passwords to 2 terminals that you'll need to go through in order to access the mainframe. There's also a lot of arrays out here. Be careful when you go up to these computer terminals. There's trapped, there's bear traps, there's wire traps, there's landmines, there's shotguns. You're probably going to die if you just run in here and all this stuff goes off at you at the same time. Probably not the best idea. Now, if you don't want to get the passwords from those 2 guys and you instead want to hack the computer so you get the experience and you get to tick off for the hack, that's fine. You can do that too. On the ground, there's going to be these arrays that are kind of strewn about. You can salvage them. I can't remember exactly how many there are to salvage off the top of my head, although my gut tells me there are 6. Typically, there's a toolbox by them. Make sure to loot those as well. We'll head up to this second terminal here. Request reset mainframe, whatever. And that'll give us access to the mainframe. go through the door into the mainframe, which is the building that's underneath the gigantic, huge spike or tower that's heading into the air. Once you're in the mainframe, realize that there's going to be a lot of robots and things you're going to have to fight your way past. Don't worry too much about it. They're not that tough unless you do something really, really, really stupid and run into a group of like 10 of them and they all shoot at you. Now, you should have a companion at this time. In this case, I have Boone. Or you could also have like Boone and Eddie. Maybe you got a pet going along with your companion. Either way, as long as you get your companion or whatever into the mess with you, it shouldn't be too bad, even if you do get surrounded. Just make sure that they're there to take a few hits. That way you're not taking all the damage. Not to forget, of course, their offensive output, which is very important. Loot a few things, head on to the mainframe. Once in here, first thing you want to do is repair that generator. Oh, 35 and a piece of scrap metal. That's easy. The scrap metal comes off the robots we just killed. Restore power. I'm going to go with the NCR option in this playthrough, just because, well, that's what I do. Once again, you can choose to go back on your NCR kindness later on in the game, even though you might be killing Legion early on and attacking Legion. At some point, Caesar will give you a second chance. And a lot of the quests, it just goes a lot smoother if you side with the NCR, basically in the beginning. And then in the end, you really get a choice of, there's 4 basic endings. You can side with NCR, side with Caesar, side with House, or you can side with yourself and let nobody rule Vegas and just have utter chaos reign. So we activated Helios. Whoa, the sun. Oh, 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 oh. Hooray, so we have power now. So that's good, and we're probably going to want to go back and talk to Dr. Fantastic, the dipwad. That's a really good view from up here. It's beautiful. Look at the desert in all its glory. Oh, there's Black Mountain up there. We'll be heading there eventually. Oh, Fantastic, you doofus. So tell him what you did, and he'll be like, whoa, no shit, man, cool. Yay, NCR liked. So we got a lot of rap. Ooh, looks like there's some alcoholic beverages in the refrigerator there. And then we'll head on out of here. Remember, the other thing we're going to be taking care of real quick is the supply situation. When we talked to the lady in the outside of Helios 1, she said that they had come for supplies and are on their way back, and if they hadn't arrived by now, more than likely they got ambushed. Now, I'm not a gambling man too much in real life, but I'm going to bet that it's probably the Legion has their hand in it. Well, let's find out. We go up here, we see the corpses, okay. Another 2, yeah, okay, what does this guy got? And then let's look at the supplies, which will be that crate. No, not that one. There we go. Okay, so we get the supplies, and sure as shooting, what do you know? It's the Legion, up to their dastardly tricks again. So pull out whatever gun or weapon you want to use and just start attacking them. Once again, really not that difficult if you have a companion or a pet with you, or if you have both, that'll make it even easier. I just hate Eddie in general, which is ironic because the new DLC, he's actually the only companion or pet or whatever you want to call it that you get. So we turn back to the quartermaster once you have the supplies. It's too bad. He'll say that all the men had to die. That's alright. And then we're going to head back into the main tent, and we're going to talk to the Major again to complete off this quest chain. And the next thing that he's going to have us do is help out the Doctor, which will work great because remember that the Doctor also gave us a quest to find out who's been stealing medical supplies. So it's 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's get into that. Oh, but look at the time. Oh boy, it's getting late. Well, I think this is as good a place as any to stop. We're helping out the Doctor. This is Cold Turkey. Thanks for watching.